Okay, Carterville Athletic Director, head football coach, Brett Dahl. How are you, bub?
I'm doing well. Good
Don't
to
you
good
wish
to
there were things to do?
yeah, right. I was just happy to get some information today. I'm tired of waiting and just the unknown has been I think the worst part, whether we agree with the decisions or not. I mean, just having a decision is so important and we're now able to move on and start to plan what we're going to do for all of our sports and that's exciting to me and I feel like a weight has been lifted today.
Well, at least now there's, like you said, there's guidelines that have been laid out there, and a schedule that has been proposed, and things of that nature. But there's just today was such a huge information day. Of course, at noon it was Governor Pritzker kind of laid out
Mhm.
some baselines, and then about 2 o'clock when IHSA released their information. Going through it, I don't know that anybody's really. I wasn't surprised by what I heard and saw in the HSA release. Kind of thought that this might be the way they go, but let's get your thoughts on when the information came out.
Well, I mean, I think that there were a limited amount of options, really, to be honest. I mean, I know that some of the states around us are talking about playing on time, and I just don't know how realistic that is. And to me, not only as an athletic director but as a football coach, the nightmare scenario is starting and stopping.
Yep.
Or we're going to delay the start 2 weeks, and then 10 days out they say, okay, we're going to delay it another 2 weeks. That to me, I have no interest in that. At least now it's off. It's after the new year, we're going to start things in February. Um, it allows me to plan a lot more. I can actually plan a fall that is productive, not just sit and wait. So I'm actually very supportive of what they've done. I think that we have a shot to make this happen. It gives us a chance to kind of get school started, which is a huge undertaking. I mean, we're talking about sports, but we're also going to bring 600 kids into our building. That's tough to do. No one has done that in the country yet. I mean, we've opened up restaurants and people want to throw out Lowe's and Menards and all that. That's the trendy thing to throw out. But last time I checked, there's not 500 people in there. We're going to bring in 600 students into a school building, and we got to figure out how to do that safely on a daily basis. And I just like the fact that we've postponed some of these other things, allowed us to get things rolling, get started, and then hopefully we can get our kids a season, all of our kids, some type of season this year.
Well, and you're actually pretty lucky in that the schedule change that IHSA has laid out for us really only for fall affects three sports: football, boys soccer, girls volleyball.
Mhm.
Which is that everybody else pretty much stays the same. I mean, there's a little bump with the spring sports going toward the summertime, but that's got to make you feel
Well, you,
too that you
you
know what, other the fall sports are going to be able to go other than football and soccer and volleyball.
Sure. I mean, we're going to have to do some tweaking with some of our schedules of things that are already in place. I mean, the basketball season has changed a little bit. There are some restrictions, so I don't know if we'll see tournaments. There are restrictions on how many games you can play in a week, so we're going to have to make some adjustments to all of our schedules, which I'm okay with. I mean, that's my job. I mean, we'll get after it, and I just happy to have the opportunity, not just somebody say, okay, well, you're done, and then I just sit around and think, okay, what should I do now? I mean, so we've got some work to do with all of our schedules. I've talked to all the conference ADs already today, this afternoon. We're going to get together, I think, on Friday. So that's a pretty quick turnaround for our conference, just to kind of touch base on all these seasons, see what adjustments we need to make, take care of our conference first, and then plug in some of the gaps with our non-conference opponents. So I'm pretty confident that group will work together and move rather quickly. And like I said, I think I end the day with a lot of hope. It's been such a roller coaster ride that there's days where I think, okay, we're going to play, everything's on time, there's nothing wrong in the world, and then the next day I'm like, we have no chance. Um, and at least today, whether people agree with everything or not, and I get it, there's some problems I see, but at the same time, we have hope for all of our sports, and I would much rather end the day with hope than just giving up.
Absolutely. But one of the things too, I mean, football's been going through summer workouts. You, I got to come out there and spend a little time watching. What was you? Did you have a meeting with football players? How did you handle that?
So right now, I mean, we have a team app that we communicate on, and right now our original initial communication I sent out on that as soon as I could, as soon as I got the official press release. We will get with those guys in person here soon when things kind of slow down a little bit. We're going to meet as a coaching staff and lay out a plan for the fall. There are some opportunities to meet and to have some contact in the fall. We'll continue to do some weightlifting. We'll try to find some ways to motivate on that because it can get old. I get it. So we'll try to find some ways to bring a little life into our weight program and speed program. And then I'm hoping that I'm reading the guidelines correct. It looks like we can play some 7-on-7 within our own team. That's a game changer. We haven't been able to do that. If we're able to do that this fall, that's a game changer. We'll turn the lights on some nights and come out and play, and that would be fun.
Yeah.
And I think that will get kids back in the swing of things a little bit. We'll do some Friday Night Lights, just a little different, and then we'll prepare. And then I tell you what, I've coached a spring sport for 13 years. February 15th, buddy, outside, it can be pretty cold. It's going to feel like football. It's going, this year or most years, that first day, it's 95. We got heat warnings, and we got to make sure we have plenty of water breaks, and we're all dying out there. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think we're going to have any trouble getting them moving on February 15th because the moment you stop, you're going to start to be real cold. So I'm looking forward to it. I it's different, but we got to control what we can control, and it's all about our perspective and our attitude and how we approach things. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm pretty darn excited about it, and I think it's going to be a great year.
Do you have any insight on what postseason for sports may look like? I was kind of going through the paperwork, and we left that up in the air.
So the state series, I believe, at this time is going to be, as a to be determined status. I think it's going to depend an awful lot on situations throughout the state. I think right now the approach would be more of a regional based postseason type of thing. Simply because they're going to limit travel throughout the state and large venues and things of that nature. So I would fully anticipate right now more of a regional-based postseason. Probably not going to crown state champions. I don't know that for sure, but that would be my guess. And then if things open up, after the new year a little bit more, that may change.
So football season right now would start February 15th, run through May 1st. And when I was looking at the schedule, football season runs through May 1st, and then you turn around and you get right back into summer workouts for 2021.
Yeah, well, and I was just on the phone right before I hooked up with you with one of our assistant coaches, and we were talking about that, the quick turnaround and really what we've got here. And I think the way we'll have to approach it is that, we have 2 off seasons in one, which is great for young kids. A 14-year-old freshman is all of a sudden going to be, almost a 16-year-old sophomore by the time we start again, or he wraps around. So we've got to make sure we utilize our off season here because it is a 2-for-1. I thought we had a very good freshman class last year. Yep. Well, that really good freshman class is going to have essentially the equivalent of 2 off seasons before their sophomore year. That could be very, very big for them because I fully anticipate a lot of those guys contributing, and now they're going to be much more ready to do that. So, I mean, I think we're going to have an awful deep squad, and a lot of kids are going to be able to contribute right out of the gate. So, it could be a bonus. Now, after the season, we're going to have to be smart. We can't end on May 1 and then start lifting again and doing football practice in June 1. We can't do that. We have to be smart in how we approach things. Maybe the state will come in and say no contact until July. I'm perfectly okay with that. To me, the less contact days, the better. I think we run kids too much anyway, because it's not just football. It's then basketball. It's
Yep.
track. baseball, and they don't get much of a break anymore. And, I'd be fine with a very limited off season next year.
I'll give you a final word before we wrap up. Anything you want to say, parents, students, anything? Or
Well, I mean, it's all how we approach it, and I think that, once again, I said this earlier, at the end of the day, nothing has been canceled, nothing has been ended, nothing has been taken away. We just have to adjust, and we have to understand that it's going to be a different year. It's going to be a different year with school. It's going to be a different year, competitively with what we're doing in sports, and we're going to get out of it what we put in. And I know on our end, we're going to put everything we got, and I fully anticipate a tremendous outcome.